Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg out at the Hy-Vee. I'm calling it the test kitchen today. Each day that we get together here, I'm going to call it something different. Today it's the test kitchen. Tomorrow it could be the Hy-Vee kitchen. Who knows? Regardless, I'm here with Erin, who keeps still putting up with me each and every month. A registered dietitian with Hy-Vee. Erin, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, I'm already so pumped for this because we got a crock pot, which is like totally favorite. We've got some fun ingredients here, and today we're going to be talking about stocking up that pantry, kind of the staples of a pantry, based on what dietitians think should be in your pantry, not what Jeremy thinks should be in your pantry, which
could be a little different.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's very heavy, let me tell you.
We're learning.
We are learning. That's part of this. Don't watch me. Listen to her and what's going on. But when you're trying to choose a pantry with a little bit of everything that you can use, kind of healthy, whatnot, where do you start people in that front?
Really, it depends on what you're looking for and what your family tastes are or cultural preferences are. But today we'll really focus on our winter seasonal pantry staples.
I like winter
Yes.
stuff. And yeah, if you can't already tell, I mean, soup's we got a crock pot here, so I'm just thinking there's going to be a soup involved at some point. But let's start with the broth and stock. It starts with what when you're picking?
Sure. So there are tons of different stocks and broths on the shelf. So my go-to is always going to be a low sodium option or a no sodium option. So what's great about having a lower no sodium option in your pantry is that as you're making soups or you're making a sauce that requires it, you can add additional sodium, like salt, table salt, throughout the tasting process of your recipe, so it's not overdone. And for those trying to limit their sodium intake for high blood pressure, great option to cut down on that sodium.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you're adding it, you can add it to your taste first off, so you can bring it up to the level that you want to, but it doesn't mean that you should bring it up to the level,
Right.
It's already there in a not or a salted version of that, but.
Exactly, so follow your taste preferences, but also work to decrease the added sodium in the diet.
Easy one to think about when you think winter time and what should be in the pantry. Also looking at canned beans, just your regular canned beans. And I've gotten into beans, gotten out of beans. I don't know. It's just tricky, I think. But yeah. What would you suggest?
Right. So we have so many great options for beans, and I love beans. I always have at least 2 or 3 varieties in my cabinet because they're a great way to add protein and fiber to almost any dish, as long as you're willing and able to try those. So for at Hy-Vee, what I always recommend is looking for our no salt added beans. So our no salt added beans are going to be in the green can. So you see that I have another option right here that is more of that brown tan color. So this is not a low sodium option. However, all you have to do if you can only get a salty option, go ahead and rinse out those beans in a colander. Rinsing them will help to decrease that sodium.
All right, there you go. So if you have to, or if you already have them maybe, and you're like, oh, I got to go to low sodium.
Decrease the sodium by rinsing them.
All right, that's not a bad idea. And do you, too, for beans, I mean, you're talking to any beans, right? I mean, you can mix and match whatever you want.
Right, exactly. So for our recipe today, we're gonna add 2 different beans, but you can really mix and match and based on your preferences and your cultural ideas too.
I'm thinking like kidney beans, and those are, there's just so many choices, but you might be afraid to explore, but better chance to do it.
Mix it up, explore some new beans, some new textures and new options.
All right, how about some dry pasta? Love the pasta.
Love the pasta. A great option is gonna be a protein pasta. So a protein pasta will add extra protein, cut down on those extra carbohydrates, so it's bulking that meal. And then you're also gonna have some great fiber
Protein
too.
in the pasta.
Protein in the pasta. Yep, some pastas will be made with plant-based proteins, so like lentils or beans, right? So that is gonna actually add more fiber too.
All right, something to look for. I like it. And then you can't forget the nuts and the seeds. Like that seems like common, but year round, but still anytime. I mean, really.
Exactly. Again, a great option to have that protein and fiber on hand, you know, whether it's a lightly salted, no salt added and raw. Great to top on any salads that you're making, on your yogurt, in your oatmeal. But great to have on
Oatmeal?
hand. Yeah, I love adding walnuts to my oatmeal in the
Of course
morning.
you do. Finally, garlic and onion powder. We're getting into my stuff here. Got a little garlic, a little onion powder. Always good to have on hand.
Always great to have on hand, especially having them being a powder. You're decreasing that sodium again. So there won't be any salt in those, but instead it will be the powder.
So it seems like we've talked about just taking the salt out about everything today, which that's okay. That's a good thing. You can still bring it up to flavor, and that's the key here. And we're going to make something here now to prove you a point.
So I have
that's really good.
A pasta fagioli.
Yeah, good thing I'm not saying it.
Soup today.
Not even going to try.
So we're going to go ahead and add our first ingredients, which is Italian sausage mixed with some veggies as well, all sauteed with our seasonings. We're going to add that first. Basically, I'd say that this is very similar to a minestrone soup.
It looks and smells amazing. The colors in there are good,
Yep.
and the aroma is really
So
good.
then we're going to add a can of tomatoes.
Yeah, you're letting me do this today, which
I
makes
am,
me a little afraid.
But I'm showing you how easy this is to make. That sauteing the meat ahead of time took about 5 to 10 minutes, probably even less than that. But then we get to just add those beans, add the tomatoes, and then we're going to add our broth.
And you said mixing and matching beans to your liking. I mean, you can interchange these out with pretty much any recipe, right?
Exactly. And to be honest, I even added additional vegetables in here because they add texture, they add fiber, they add nutrients, and flavor. So you get all of that together. Lastly, we won't add these right now, but as my soup gets warmed up, I'm going to add some protein pasta into it too. Like I said, very similar to a minestrone soup. And then they'll all have a little extra protein too.
Let it cook, let it simmer, get it out for dinner.
And our bay leaves.
Smells really good. All right, well, if people want to learn more about those fun things to put in the pantry during the winter time or any time, or just questions on making some fun soups, I bet you have some really cool recipes.
I always have great recipes to share. So find me at Hy-Vee.com/health and find our dietitian team, or come and find me in the store at one of your Hy-Vee locations.
You know what we're missing?
What?
Saltine crackers.
Ah!
Can you allow those in, or do they have
Sure.
the non-salted saltine crackers?
There are no sodium saltine crackers, but if we're already cutting down on our sodium in our soup, we can add a little sodium with our cracker.
Yes. Thank you. All right, thank you so much, Erin. Really appreciate your time as always.
Thank you.